So what I wanted to talk to you about today is, and it was one of the last topics on the online program as well, was around the spread technique. Doing a little bit of research and looking into things a little bit more, I decided to really highlight both Peter Schmeichel, who, as I was growing up, I looked up to him. He was the best in the world, in my opinion, best in the Premier League era. You guys now, you've got the privilege of being able to watch Kasper Schmeichel play in a very, very similar style to his dad. And kind of the reason I chose them was because although a lot of goalkeepers utilize the spread, and you'll see a lot of them using the spread in games, I don't think you will see as many goalkeepers be as effective and as successful as what both Peter and Kasper are in utilising the spread. I think their decision making, their execution, their understanding of everything is head and shoulders above anybody else that tries to use it, and it is a lot more natural, and it comes a lot more instinctively to them than what it potentially does other professional goalkeepers. I'm going to kind of break it down and show you why and kind of give you my reasoning. But I mean, first of all, obviously the principle of the spread, it's to increase the surface area of your body to defend a large portion or percentage of the goal in response to an attempt on goal that you have little or no time to react to. So specifically, the two scenarios that you would be looking at where the ball's close would be reaction saves or 1v1s, which we'll get on to. But kind of the origins of the spread and understanding where it's come from and why Peter and Kasper are so successful. It comes from handball, and both of them have had a lot of exposure and playing the game. So can I just ask whoever that is to pop your mic on mute, please? I've got a little bit of extra noise coming through. Cheers. So kind of the origins of the spread come from handball, and you'll kind of see it. A smaller goal, but the principle stays the same. You've got to try and make your body as big as possible to defend the goal. I mean, when these fellas are throwing the ball, I think I watched one that was recorded being about 113 kilometers per hour, which I can't really, off the top of my head, work out in miles. But you'll see it's a smaller goal, but the amount of time they've got to respond, they've got to try and make the body as big as possible. Timing's got to be spot on, body's got to stay square, they've got to be brave. I think one of them gets a ball in the face as well. I think it's that fella there. Not quite. So, as I say, kind of the origins of the spread come from handball. And when Peter Schmeichel was growing up, he played a lot of handball, and obviously in the same breath, Kasper did as well. So the opportunities to spread are going to be in 1v1 scenarios, which we've looked at previously, and also in shot stopping from close range shots or from like reflex saves. So we're just going to have a look at a few examples of both Peter and Kasper here. making saves, both in 1v1 scenarios and in terms of shot stopping using the spread. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of similarities in terms of handball, and also the principles about making your body as big as possible. So you'll see variety, somewhere the ball's high, somewhere the ball's low in 1v1s, and just kind of have a look at how the goalkeeper adapts and adjusts the body. So in terms of your execution, we need to get into line with the ball quickly. As you're getting into line, you need to slow down to prepare to spread. If it's in a 1v1 scenario, can you attack the foot that the striker is striking with? So as you can see in that scenario there, I believe that's a Stoke player striking with his right foot. So Kasper Schmeichel spreading with his left leg. If he was striking with his left, if the attacker was striking with his left foot, he would be going right leg, and the opposite leg would be kind of collapsing in over. You're going to look to make the body as big and as wide as possible in shot stopping scenarios. So even in that scenario there, you can see the size of Kasper's body. In both scenarios, you're going to try and get your body onto the correct level. So if the ball's low, you need to get low quickly. If the ball's higher, you need to either think about standing or using a vertical jump to make the save. In both scenarios, you're going to make the arms and his legs as big and as wide as possible. Keep your head in front, your hips off forwards to reduce the space above you, and keep your body square. So that means facing the ball. If you start to turn, the surface area of your body looks smaller to the attacker, and you start defending a smaller percentage of the goal. Ensure that the spread utilises vertical movement to defend as much of the goal as possible. So when we go through, what you'll see is both Peter and Kasper are very good at changing directions and controlling the body. So they end up going straight up and down to stay in line with the ball, and they can also transfer their energy or the weight forwards. You'll see other goalkeepers, when they're utilising the spread, that although they'll go up or down, they'll also start to move laterally as well. So they'll move side to side and they'll move out of line with the ball, which again, it makes a portion of the percentage of the goal that the attacker can see just that little bit bigger. So what we'll do is we'll show you a couple of scenarios here. So your first one is Peter Schmeichel in a 1v1 scenario. So first things first is there's a defender there. So Peter's thinking, hold me position, defend the goal, prepared to make a save. But he's also prepared, if that striker gets past the defender, to accelerate quickly and go and put pressure on the attacker. As the attacker pulls back to strike, you can see that Peter, although he's travelling forwards, he's also dropping his height. And as he's doing that, as he's spreading, he's able to travel forwards. It reduces the amount of goal that the attacker can see. And because he's low, he's defending the portion of the goal that the attacker can more easily expose, which would be the lower part. Obviously, the head comes forward, the arms come wide. That does defend the upper part as well. Whoever's got the mic on, can you just knock it off, please? And again, there you see, as he's travelling forwards, he's able to reduce the size of the goal. He stays big. And at the end there, he's able to recover the ball. So in terms of decision-making on when to spread, you're going to have a look at the distance between yourself and the ball. So this applies to that scenario quite perfectly, to be fair. If he stood where he was when the attacker beat the defender, it was probably too close to stand react. So he's used that opportunity on the touch past the defender to close the distance. And as the attacker's pulling back to strike, he's made that decision to spread. He's too far away to block. he's too close to stand and react. So the next logical solution would be the spread. If he's defending against a shot, he would be too close to the ball to be able to stand and react to what he sees. In terms of what you see there in a 1v1, you're looking at a heavy touch or a heavy through ball, where the attacker's shaping the strike early. So you be making your way at the ball as the attacker's getting close at the ball. As you see them prepared to strike, that's when you start to execute the spread. What you might see during shots, the ball's played across goal, the attacker's preparing an effort on target from close range, so that's another great opportunity to spread. So again, you wouldn't be far enough away where you could set your feet, you could assess the ball, you could see, you could make a save. And what you would do as well is, which we'll see in the next video, in the next clip, you move into line quickly. You begin to start to control your body to move vertically up or down. Keep the body square, so you're making the surface area of your body really big. Make the arms and legs as wide as possible and try and defend as much of the goal as possible. And now what we'll see in the shot stopping, again, ball's played across goal. He's going to utilise a little drop step with his left foot, and then he's going to cross over the front with his left foot again to move across the goal really quickly. So you should see it here. Drop, cross. He's going to decelerate as the ball reaches the attacker, and he's going to prepare to spread, as you can see. So the arms are coming big, and as Benteke makes contact, he starts to rise. And where the ball is, the easiest part of the target to hit is the upper half of the goal. So Kasper starts to rise vertically, keeps his body square, head forward, arms, legs big, and he defends a part of the goal. It's easier for the attacker to expose with the header, which we'll see again here. So you've also got a decision as well, and I will come on because as I mentioned at the start, it's sometimes very easy just to drop in or explode into a spread when it might not necessarily be the right decision. So you've also got this decision on when you need to stand and react to what you see. So distance in a 1v1, you're too far away from the ball to effectively defend the goal with a spread. In terms of shot stopping, there's enough distance to be able to assess the ball and respond to the effort on target. So that's in terms of your reaction time. What you might need to see in 1v1s, the striker's in control of the ball, a defender's recovering or pressuring the attacker, or the attacker is outside the area or travelling away from goal. And in terms of shot stop, what you might see, the ball's too far away to effectively utilise the spread. So although you're still making your body big, you're not going to be as effective with it because you can't effectively defend a bigger percentage of the goal. Plus, you've got the reaction time to be able to stand and see it. So what would you do in those scenarios when you see any of the above? You're either going to hold your ground. So initially what you're seeing with the Peter Schmeichel example, the defender is putting pressure on the attacker. He's held his ground, so he's maintaining that distance to potentially be able to react. He's setting early, and he's preparing to assess an attempt on target. Obviously, that didn't happen. You see the touch away from the attacker, and he's used that opportunity to go and close the distance. But in terms of shot stopping, if you've got that time, you can then decide on the correct save to make and utilize a correct action to make the save. Or on the flip side, it might be that you've got a touch more time and you might be able to drop off to give yourself an additional bit of space and a little bit more time. You would set the feet on recognizing the threat of the shot or the attempt. So it might be a volley, it might be a header, it might be a pullback across goal. And And then you would follow the process of assessing, deciding, and then utilising the correct technique. So in terms of decision making, you'll see a few different things here. And there's some absolutely outstanding saves as well. He didn't get the credit he deserved for that one, which he should have. This is fantastic as well, the recovery to get up, change direction, make himself big. Again, it's important to remember to be positive in these scenarios, back your decision. So there he's made the decision not to come, he stood and he's made a great save. There he's held, he's seen the touch and he's went. So we're seeing things as well that might look fairly routine, but what you'll see is across all levels of the game that the goalkeepers will potentially make that decision to go and rush towards a ball when they can actually stand and react, or they'll stand and react when they've got the opportunity to go towards a ball. And that's the reason that I picked these two, because I think they're absolutely fantastic in these scenarios, and a good majority of the time they are successful in keeping the ball out the back of the net. So in terms of attributes to make yourself successful in these scenarios, especially when spreading, either 1v1s or making saves, you're looking at acceleration. So you would have seen a lot of it there, either across your goal or out towards the ball. Deceleration, so you're looking at being more in control at the point of contact. So as the attacker is preparing to strike, can you recognise that? Can you slow down? Which then leads into the agility and body control. So agility is the ability to change directions quickly. So the way that I see that in this scenario is, let's go back to the Benteke one, moving across the goal. So he's moving laterally. He's then got to slow down to change direction from moving to his right to moving up to make the spread, and also body control to make sure that he's rising vertically and not laterally as well when he's utilising the spread. Bravery is a massive one. So you've got to be able to put your body on the line in these scenarios. Andy said it last Friday. You've never ever seen a goalkeeper concede a goal when he's been hit in the face. And you can see it there. Kasper Schmeichel, body square, eyes on the ball, nice and big. No head turn, no body turn. You've got to be able to put your body on the line. Balance. So first of all, to be able to move across your goal. Secondly, in these scenarios, so going back to the Peter Schmeichel example against Villa, as he's made the spread, he's been able to recover onto his feet quickly and smother the ball. Explosive power, so being able to get into those positions very quickly. Strength, so a lot of the time you're making saves with your legs or your arms. You've got to be very stable around your joints, so around your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, knees, ankles, hips. We've got to be very strong, and finally flexibility. So probably more to the extreme when we've seen the handball clips. you've got to be flexible to get your body into those type of positions, to get your legs wide, to drop your hips quickly, and to make yourself as big and as wide as possible. So just a little conclusion there as well. I think the spread technique can be extremely effective when utilized and executed at the correct moment. So I said it before, and it kind of leads into the next point as well. Although it can be effective in making saves, it's often utilized at the incorrect moments, or it isn't executed correctly. So as I said, first of all, it's that assessment, and then it's the control. So can we make the correct decisions on when we need to spread and when we need to stand and react? And there's very fine margins there as well. You would have seen a lot of scenarios in the decision-making video where you think, oh, well, he could have come out and spread there, or when he spread, you could think, oh, well, he could have dropped back and he could have potentially made a save. But I think that's what makes both Peter and Kasper so good at that. And it's a great example if you go and watch YouTube videos of them both just basically making saves. The decision making on when to go and when to stand or when to drop, without having any stats in front of us, I would say that probably well over 60% of the time, they're making the correct decision. And again, I've kind of mentioned it there. To effectively utilize the spread, you need to be able to assess the scenario as it unfolds in front of you. So you're seeing it, you're making your decisions. It all happens in a split second. And along with that, you need to be able to judge the distance between yourself and the ball to quickly make the correct decision on when and how to engage. And you must be able to recognize the triggers and decide on the correct timing to effectively utilize and execute the spread. So on the back of that, does anybody have any questions, or has anybody taken anything good away from that? If you have, just pop your mic on. Don't be shy. Right, so what I'll do is I'll come back in, we'll have a chat if anybody's got any questions or anything to say. We'll do it back in